Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about some bands that, in my opinion, are very often underrated. I'll be diving into specific albums, songs, and also some live shows I've seen over the years. If you're new here, I'm Eleonora Moriarty Dao on social media, and I'm a death and thrash metal guitarist. I usually post short cover videos, but I'm finally back on YouTube with full-length videos to talk about my gear, do vlogs, share behind-the-scenes content, and more. The first band, and for me they are at the top of the list of underrated bands, is Annihilator. They are a thrash metal band with strong speed metal influences. Some of you might know their early albums like Alice in Hell from 1989 or Neverland from 1990. I honestly don't know why, but they are one of those bands people always seem to forget about. They have a very distinctive sound, both because of Jeff Waters' vocal style and the guitar tones, which are really recognizable. I know they are not for everyone though. I listened to them a lot a few years ago, especially those first albums I mentioned. The Fun Palace was actually one of the very first songs I ever tried to play on guitar. In general, they are extremely technical. The riffs, the solos, and even live, they deliver an amazing performance. Aaron playing live is incredible, guys. He's so clean and precise in his playing. I've seen them once and I absolutely love it. I would definitely go to see them again. The early albums are classics, as we said, but in my opinion their more recent releases are also very solid. I really recommend checking out For the Demented from 2017. A special mention goes to Metal from 2007. It's interesting because the sound is a bit softer compared to the first two albums, but most importantly, every track features a different guest artist. For example, in Downright Dominate, there's Alexi Laio from Children of Bottom, and in Clown Parade, you can hear Jeff Loomis from Nevermore. It's not my favorite album personally, but the concept is really cool and worth a listen. So yes, this is absolutely a band to check out if you are a fan of the genre. In second place, Isodor. They are a heavy metal band with some power metal influences, and I've talked about them quite a lot before. They are not as underrated as Annihilator, but I still think they deserve way more attention than they get. One album I've listened a lot is Horror Show. I highly recommend to check it out if you don't know. It's entirely dedicated to creators from horror novels and movies. On drums, there's Richard Christie, who also played in The Sound of Perseverance from Death and in The Fragile Art of Existence from Control Denied. This album is amazing. It's one of those records you can listen from start to finish without ever getting bored. The songs are all different, some are more energetic, there's even a ballad, and that makes it really dynamic and interesting. I also love the themes this band draws inspiration from. For example, Dante's Inferno is inspired by the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. Another album who absolutely need to know is Burnt Offerings, their third record. Third band, Nevermore. They are a band that some people love, but overall I think they are still way too unnoted. Recently, they've kind of come back into the spotlight because some time ago, Jeff Loomis decided to reunite the band and search for the new lineup ended just a few weeks ago. I appreciated the choice of the new singer. Of course, no one can replace Warhol Dane, that's impossible. He will always be unique. But Berzan Onen is an interesting choice. Technically, he's great. His voice fits really well and it seems able to bring something personal to the songs without completely changing them, which is not easy. An album you absolutely have to listen is Dead Art in a Dead World. I've talked about it so many times because it's one of my top 3 favorite albums of all time. There's not much to say, you have just to listen to it. And together with that, Dream in Neon Black. Both albums have a dark, theatrical atmosphere. For me, they are among the best metal records ever made. I'm really happy about this comeback because we'll finally hear more about Nevermore. People don't talk about them enough and they truly deserve more attention. And of course, I would be so happy to see them live. Let's move on to Angel, an historic thrash metal band. They are amazing during live shows, super tight, very precise, and they sound fantastic. I saw them a few years ago. They are often booked as an opening act and rarely as headliners, and in my opinion, they deserve much more recognition. You might know their debut album, The Ultraviolence, but personally Personally, I am a huge fan of The Evil Divide from 2016. One of my favorite tracks is Lost, but the mod is also great. The opening riff is incredible. Live, they are incredibly solid. Great tone, super professional performance. I'll be more than glad to see them again. Like Annihilator, they've managed to maintain really high standards over the years. In fact, in 2019, they released another excellent album, Humanicide. The last very underrated band, and unfortunately one that I've never seen live, is Sodom. They are an historic thrash metal band and have been around for many years. Interestingly, my favorite Sodom albums are not the early ones, but the self-titled Sodom, which includes City of God, another one of the first songs I ever studied, and M50, which features one of their most well-known tracks, Napalm in the Morning. They are German, so you can definitely find some similarities in sound with bands like Creator, who are much more famous, and other bands like Destruction and Tankard as well, which I don't like very much, to be honest. Despite similarities with those bands, I think Sodom are a bit of an exception, since their sound also uses more classic thrash riffs. I suppose this is one of the reasons why I prefer them over the other bands I mentioned. They just have that old school energy that really works if you like traditional thrash. If you've never checked them out, I definitely recommend starting with M50. It's a great entry point. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy it and found it interesting. Let me know in the comments which band you think is the most underrated. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye!